gravity, any day above ground living. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Go out and hump some. So, as promised, we are going to look at a debate between old Tatum Tots and this white guy, Brian Shapiro, who famously coined the term Trump, the F word syndrome. We're not going to say that word here because I don't feel like saying pause this early. This is going to be another example of old Tatum Tots not understanding what's going on out here. And unless Trump gives a lengthy syllabus to follow, none of these MAGA grifters know what the hell to talk about. Because they'll actually have to think for themselves. And it never ends well. Woo! So we're going to have fun with this. But before I do that, let me just share this to X.
We're ready for Brandon now. Brandon, okay, you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Thank you for being here, Brandon. I appreciate it. How are you?
I'm blessed.
Thank you for being here. So a lot to get to in a short period of time with you, Brandon. What do you make, first of all, on the riots that are taking place in LA? And do you think Gavin Newsom should be arrested? Because apparently that's what Donald Trump wants. He said that today.
Well, I hope that while we're talking, we get to some of the other things that have been said about me by you online.
Sure.
I think we can get to that at some point. However,
you can start off with that if you want to. It's up to you.
I do think that Gavin Newsom bears responsibility for the outrageous behavior that's going on in California. He bears responsibility for the lack of appropriating or appropriately dealing with immigration, allowing illegals to just run rampant in California. All that we see now, the actions from
and we're not even a minute in, and Tatum Tots does not understand how this works. Sir, they've been doing this since the 60s. But yeah, let's just lay it at the governor's feet. I bet you didn't say anything when the governor did it, right? You didn't say nothing, right? You didn't say nothing when Pete Wilson did it back in the 90s, right? You didn't say nothing. Y'all never paid attention to California until, I'll be nice, Obama. You didn't pay attention to California in 2016 through 2021 when Trump was in office. You didn't pay attention. I'll be nice. I'll say 2017 because that could have been like November 8th. And when he was president-elect and he didn't say nothing. We didn't hear this. Because I think y'all think that illegal immigration to California stopped when Trump was in, right? Okay. I got it. We're going to help you, though.
All of that is because of the lack of leadership from the mayor and governor of California.
So all of our immigration problems in this country are
immigration problems in California. We specifically are talking about California. Gavin Newsom, you asked me the question about California. So the immigration issues that we see.
How did he cut him off? And the first thing he said was the immigration problems in California. He just cut that man off. See? Understand with MAGA, when they get in these debates, they always want to be able to talk. But then when you start talking for more than 3 sentences, they're going to say you're talking too long.
So all of our immigration problems in this country are
immigration problems in California. We specifically are talking about California. Gavin Newsom, you asked me the question about California. So the immigration issues that we see, the enforcement that we see from ICE, are because of lack of leadership. If there were no illegal aliens in California and they were doing their job, allowing law enforcement to work with Border Patrol, historically, we wouldn't have the things that we see going on right now. We wouldn't have people being detained from Home Depot and all these other different places. We wouldn't have it. That's why you don't see that is rampant in other states as you do in California.
How does he lie like that? How does he lie like that? It hasn't been rampant in Arizona. It hasn't been rampant in New Mexico. It hasn't been rampant in Texas. You see how he lies? Sir, family, No, I'm not sick. Family. It might be the mic. I don't know. Give me 1 second. All right, it might be better now. Okay, Tatum, weren't y'all just complaining a year or two ago that people were crossing the Rio Grande in Texas way too much? And this was under Biden. They were retweeting the CNN video where the dude was saying illegal immigration and what we're doing is great under Biden. Business is great. So under Biden, you highlighted a red state, quote unquote. Now Trump's in, you're going to go highlight California. I tell you, he dumb.
Well, it's also a bigger state. I would also say that it's a little bit larger than some of the other states, so I think that might have something to do with it. But I want to go to what you just said. What are your issues with me and the things that I've said about you? I'm happy to have a civil conversation with you about that. You said I had Trump. You said I had Trump derangement syndrome on the Pierce Morgan show, which I thought was absolutely absurd. But go ahead, I'll give you the platform to do it.
Yeah, for sure. And also, you said that I was an idiot. You said that
Well, that was true. You are an idiot. We literally saw you try to debate Uvalde in front of white people, and white people were saying, "You don't know what the hell you're talking about, and you're supposed to be a whole cop. You don't even know the law. You don't even know police tactics, and you couldn't articulate it to an audience that was not yours." Yeah, you're pretty much an idiot. You said every cop in the Tyree Nichols death should not go to jail. How do you watch a murder on film and tell people they shouldn't go to jail? You saw crime on film and told people some of them shouldn't go to jail. You literally watched a video with two idiot teenagers run down a retired sheriff, and you thought they were both black before any other information comes out, and then lied in there because I think you said you could tell because they were saying the N word that they were both black, and then kind of find out one of them was a Hispanic, white Hispanic, and you didn't say anything. Yeah, you're pretty much an idiot.
kinds of things, a grifter, amongst many other things.
And I'm Ahmaud Arbery too.
Insane to me. I called you Trump. You had Trump derangement syndrome because on a topic that didn't involve Trump whatsoever, which is the topic of Kanye West, you brought up Trump. None of the
Was Kanye West not around Trump? By the way, screenshot. What was Kanye not around Trump? See, oh Lord.
Trump supporters brought up Trump. Nobody else brought up Trump. Pierce didn't bring up Trump. You decided to bring up Trump and adding it to the fold in such a ridiculous way.
Oh, it's not ridiculous.
Weren't y'all talking about? Never mind.
It's because it's hypocrisy. You see, what happens, in my opinion, with people like you, and I'll go into why I said those things, because you called people a lot of names as well. But I'll go into this because it's hypocrisy. Okay, when people like you want to talk about, what's going on in LA right now, and officers beating, which, by the way, I don't care whether it's a Black Lives Matter protest or January 6th. It's wrong. I think we both could agree on that. But when Donald Trump, the man who you support, calls them patriots and hostages and pardons them, you being a former police officer, you guys are only pro-police when it fits your narrative. That's why I bring up Donald Trump, because it's hypocrisy. And I was having a conversation with Jack Posobiec. You interrupted on the Pierce Morgan show and just randomly said I have Trump derangement syndrome, which is an 8th grade insult. The reason why I
What did you say to him then? What did you say to him?
What did I say to him?
Yeah, what did you say he was doing with Donald Trump?
What did I say he was doing with Donald Trump? The reason why I said that is because you can laugh.
Brandon is showing that he's not smart. He came. I want y'all to understand. Brandon is defending the fact he went in to go save that white man, Jack Posobiec. And he got upset that man said you have TFS to Jack Posobiec and Brandon had to go interject. He's like, you're not gonna insult and besmirch my white friend. And you got what you got.
You can choose to listen, Brandon.
I'm listening and laughing at the same time. Dude.
Okay, well, I'm glad you can do two things at the same time. But what I'm
goddamn, goddamn. Oh, this is gonna be good. We're gonna have fun. Oh, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Oh, so in front of this white man, you getting insulted, right? And played with. All you can do is smile. Ain't no bass in your voice. But when Hotep Jesus was giving you the business in that debate on that round table, and you had help. Because remember, he had Lawrence B. Jones and Bryson Gray on this. You had help. And then you tried to act tough.
Said Trump derangement syndrome. I actually thought it was Jack that said that. But if you notice, if you go back to the video, I said that after you interjected that, which again is an 8th grade insult.
What did you say to him though, specifically?
I think it was something along the lines of Donald Trump wearing Donald Trump knee pads, which I think you wear.
No, but you also said that he was doing a sexual act with Donald Trump.
Okay, he does a sexual act with Donald Trump. Jack Posobiec does sexual acts with Donald Trump. Pause. He literally does. You don't get a white binder from Donald Trump if you don't do a sexual act on him. And by the way, I'm being facetious. Jack Posobiec cannot lead and teach. So he got in bed with Trump to give himself clout. And now he just got called out for copy and pasting tweets, which he probably got from an influencer farm. But, you know, we don't have definitive proof of that. He's a shill. Even MAGA's starting to turn on him. And that's a beautiful thing. He better hope he don't fall out with Charlie Kirk.
You said I had Trump derangement syndrome. I wanted to get into more productive conversation. But if you want to go down this path, I'm happy to do that with you, Brandon, because I do appreciate you coming on the show. So if this is what you want to do, that's fine. I said you have Trump fellatio syndrome. Don't criticize me.
You want to put some facts out here real quick? Well, you talk about Donald Trump far more than I ever have. You can look at the last.
Now, that's a lie, Brandon. That's a lie. Because Brian didn't do what you did. You did not go to a UFC event, see that man coming in and act like the paparazzi. See, Brian didn't do that. Sir, you've talked way more about Trump than this man. We've watched you for 8 fucking years. If you ain't talking about black people, you talk about Trump. If you ain't talking about Israel, you talk about Trump. If you ain't talking about Angel Reese, you talking about Trump. Let's not do this, sir. People can go on your channel and look at this.
Obviously, uploaded. They've been Trump and MAGA. I'm not known for being a Trump supporter. I'm known for talking about police issues, social issues. Anybody can look at any one of my videos.
And there's Trump there, sir. Sir, we can go back to 2017 through 2019 and 2020. You literally were going sucking off Trump. Pause. Cut it out.
5 uploads. You can look at the top 20, 30 videos that I've uploaded of all
Let's talk about that. No problem, Brandon. Let's talk about that. Have you ever criticized, you're being a former cop, have you ever criticized Donald Trump for calling those who attacked January police hostages and
patients? I did. I said it on the news. I said it everywhere. You didn't watch my content.
The news.
You never watched my content. I don't agree with Donald Trump pardoning everybody from the January 6th. I thought they were complete idiots for what they did on January 6th. I thought it was wrong. I don't think that they should have done that. I said it everywhere that you could hear me say it.
Why did Donald Trump pardon them?
Here's the question, though, Brandon. Did you? Because you see what he did. He's gonna say them folk that went in the building, all of them shouldn't have gotten pardoned. Cool. Notice he didn't say that he's staying with them cops. Because I saw those videos he did. He said the Capitol Police were tools of Nancy Pelosi, and they were set up. When I mean set up, he was talking about the January 6 people.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he has his reasons. Some people were wrongfully in prison. Some were. The ones who did not get violent with police officers that were just in the Capitol building.
Why in the fuck are you in the building? MAGA, why don't y'all answer me that question? Why are you defending people going into a restricted area? Why are we doing this? I need this help. Again, MAGA, I'm going to ask y'all the question. Why would you go in a building controlled by Nancy Pelosi knowing how she does not like your man? Why would you do that? Somebody telling you, let's go into this restricted area. You gonna go in there. And you expect us to have sympathy for you.
I'm not going to argue that.
That's the only ones I'm talking about. Now, if you fought a police officer, you need to go to jail.
I agree.
We're back to that.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You fight a police officer. If you disagree with the election, you need to go to jail. Period.
I agree with you there. Why is it you always talk about George Floyd's criminal past? What does that have to do with what took place to George Floyd on that day when Derek Chauvin's a murderer? Can we agree on that?
Well, yeah, of course he's a murderer. I think Derek Chauvin's an idiot, and I think he should rot in hell for what he did. Now, I do think that you have to put things, compartmentalize things. You have to put things in perspective.
Go ahead.
We're trying to make George Floyd into a hero.
Nobody made George Floyd into a hero except y'all on the right. Jesus Christ. Do y'all understand that the right made George Floyd a martyr, not people who are either black or on the quote unquote left? That was a large segment of the political right. Because the mainstream right did not agree and condemned what Chauvin did. You online idiots were the ones that made him a martyr. Every time somebody did something with George Floyd, y'all had to post it up. We were not saying that we were over it, but by that point, we were already exhausted. And then we had to go deal with the Breonna Taylor stuff at the same time. We were exhausted. Y'all said this man deserved it because he put a gun on a pregnant lady way before this happened. But okay, fine. All right. They love George Floyd more than we do.
Said he was an activist. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying the reason why I say the things I say. You have to put it in perspective that this guy has done more harm in the black community than good. He literally was involved in a home invasion where he put a gun to a pregnant woman who was a minority.
What does that have to do with what happened on May 25th, 2020?
Who this person was. Just because you died don't make you a saint. He was a
Jesus Christ. I'm gonna say something so messed up right now. It's before 9 o'clock. I can get away with it. When Thomas Sowell transitions, they're gonna make him into a saint. You watch. Black conservatives will make him into a saint. The online black conservatives will make him a saint. I guarantee.
bad person doing bad things.
Okay, then you and me, I can't control what other people say. I don't think George Floyd was a saint, but what I try to say, Brandon, is that he was murdered. I believe in part because of the color of his skin. I don't believe it.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you think if Derek Chauvin was black and George Floyd was white, you believe the same thing would have happened?
George Floyd overdosed in part on fentanyl, too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Man. And the funny thing is the information is out there and they still won't go look it up. Brandon, see, getting access to medical journals is very free. I did that. The level of fentanyl in his system was not lethal. And again, I say, if he was going to overdose, he should have let him overdose in the car or when he got home. Then you could have called it an overdose. Brandon is a cop. Remember, he claimed he a cop. You gonna tell me as a cop, you walk in, somebody overdoses, right? There's somebody there with them. Didn't render aid, none of that. You gonna tell me you not gonna arrest that person? You're not gonna put no type of charges on them. This is the same cop who says it's okay to charge people who do a bank robbery and somebody died, even though they weren't involved. They catch the body. Everybody that they catch up that was around the time of the incident, everybody gets the body. But you about to tell us that Derek Chauvin did not kill that man, even though he was on film for over 9 minutes with his knee on his neck. Go ahead, Brandon. Do it.
But we gotta add that in.
No, but that's not true.
The lethal amount of fentanyl.
Not true.
It was not lethal, sir.
One was allowed in a courtroom, and they both found homicide. If what you're saying,
it doesn't matter that it's not just the fact or the actions that were taken by Chauvin. Chauvin was not arrested and prosecuted for intentional murder. He was prosecuted for unintentional murder. So that means that his actions unintentionally led to the murder of George Floyd. However,
why did he do it? If he heard that man say, "I can't breathe," why didn't he get off and render aid? Why did he tell the EMS chick not to come near? Why did he send his boys to run interference? By the way, since MAGA don't remember this, when Chauvin got his federal charges, right? When he got his federal charges, he looked at the family and said, "I'm sorry for what I did." So he even knew what he did was wrong. But y'all still hanging on to that narrative that he did nothing wrong. By the way, screenshot number 2.
In addition to what went on with George Floyd, it wasn't that Chauvin choked him, killed him. He did overdose. Now, Chauvin contributed to his overdosing. He did not render aid.
Well, damn, that sounds like he should have been charged now, right? He assisted the overdose. Again, Brandon, you're a cop. This is what you keep telling you. No, you're not on the force no more. Wouldn't y'all not arrest people who give people the drugs that they overdosed on? Wouldn't y'all arrest them for negligence? I'm just asking.
And these are the things that Chauvin was charged with. It's not like George Floyd was in perfect health and Chauvin choked him unconscious. It did not happen that way.
I'm gonna let it play.
Exacerbated an overdose situation, which we in law enforcement call it excited delirium, which caused him to go down a path that he never recovered from.
So it sounds like he contributed to his death. You realize he just contradicted what he said, right? When this conversation started, he said he overdosed. Now he's saying that Chauvin contributed to his death. Even though you spent 5 years trying to tell everybody that's not what happened. Damn. Fam, if any one of Tatum Tots people see this, because notice he didn't put this up on his page. If he would have put this up on his page, he'd lose, I think, at least 1 million subscribers by the end of next week. I hope that little section we just played, I hope that just proves that even they don't believe what they say. They just want white people to like them.
And never put him in a recovery position, did not show any concern for his life. And these are the charges that Chauvin got charged with, which I think were appropriate.
Okay. Then you can't say that he overdosed. You should say that was criminally negligent homicide. Or like you said, unintentional murder. Because as a cop, he should have known better. Nasty work.
But Brandon, there were 2 autopsies. Both found that he died from homicide, meaning the only way he could have died from a drug overdose was if he was forced drugs into his system, which we know he wasn't. I repeat, both autopsies by real professionals, not me, not you.
Autopsy is not going to determine if a person is guilty or not. Meaning you're saying homicide. Homicide.
Sir, what is a homicide? Wait, he's going to explain what a homicide is.
Simply means that the cause of death was at the hands of another person. So he OD'd and showed like
he went right back to ODing. Sir, you just no, he went right back to it. Since when is the OD? Oh, never mind. Josh, no city burned down. I don't know why y'all keep saying that. What city burned down? Before I play this again, Josh, since you want to come in here, didn't address the room and say good morning, tell us what city burned down because of George Floyd. Go ahead. Damn, y'all just be listening to people and reading what they type and just repeating it. Tell us what city burned down that they're still building. Go ahead. Please let us know the city. No, let them come, Miss Niecy. We're not gonna block them today. We're putting out the mandate right now. It's 9 o'clock. We're not blocking nobody today. I want everybody to say what they want to say. Because I want everybody to say what they want to say while they listen to this man lie and contradict himself. Go ahead, Josh. Tell us what city burned. What city burned down? Let's go. Come on. Because I want to visit it. I want to take pictures of the reconstruction. Go ahead. This motherfucker said 2016, May 26th. What? And there it is. 2016. I didn't know George Floyd died in 2016. I didn't know this. 2016. Boy. Oh, no. Been a minute. That man said the city burned. That means the entirety. Everything burned. The ballparks, the stadiums, the parks. He's saying it looked like Judgment Day from Terminator 2. That's what he said. There was a white woman that looked like Sarah Connor on a gate trying to tell everybody the city finna burn down, and the city burned, everybody burnt up. That's what they said. I want to go see the new and improved Minneapolis. Now we're gonna find out the reason why all the Somalis be running up there. Everything brand new. No, Wallow J, we're blocking nobody today. I want everybody to hear everything and put their responses. And I want to show everybody how hypocritical and how these right-wingers and supposed right-wingers, how they don't think. Thank you so much. 2016.
Like, for instance, Chauvin did not get charged with intentional murder. Chauvin got charged with the fact that he was negligent and not responsive to what George Floyd was going through. Therefore, George Floyd ended up dying as a result of a combination of things. His drugs in the system.
But you kept saying for years, Brandon, he overdosed. And you're still saying it. You just said it twice now, that he overdosed. Now you're acknowledging that Chauvin did something wrong and contributed to it. So by your logic, that takes the onus off George Floyd and puts it on him.
You're right. There was drugs in it.
Josh, you're not blocked. Everybody saw your comment. Now be quiet. It's called block. Hold on, sir. Your comment says blocked for expressing opinion. Sounds about right. Everybody saw that. I just told everybody nobody gets blocked today. Now be quiet. You shouldn't even talk. You know what, Josh? You shouldn't even talk until 2016. That's the next time you can talk in this. 2016.
You say a homicide, you're saying if it's anybody that dies, An autopsy result isn't necessarily a homicide. If a person is dying from gunshot wounds, the autopsy is not going to conclude it was homicide.
What the fuck? What? Say that again.
Body that dies, an autopsy result isn't necessarily a homicide. If a person is dying from gunshot wounds, the autopsy is not going to conclude.
Why would a person dying from gunshot wounds have an autopsy done on them if they're not dead yet? My Lord. My God. Are we sure he was a cop? Miss Niecy, I said do not block nobody. Don't block nobody. Please respect me on that today. Please. It's Wednesday and I'm off. I'm fasting right now. Please. Put the cocksucker back. Do not block nobody. No, sir, it's not no typo. Because you had at least 2 minutes between your comments to write something cogent. You did not do that. You wrote 2016. No, it's not a typo. The 1 and the 6 are not close to the 2 and the 0. Cut it out, sir. Jesus Christ.
It was homicide. The autopsy is going to conclude that he died from gunshot wounds. In the court of law, they're going to conclude that the person who shot him illegally shot him or unjustifiably shot him. So an autopsy is going to determine the cause of death. The responsibility is determined in the court of law. Derek Chauvin did not choke him and kill him. He overdosed from drugs, but Derek Chauvin contributed to his death.
My God. Yet both autopsies say asphyxiation, but he didn't choke him. Okay.
Which is why it is considered to be a homicide, which is why they charged Derek Chauvin with unintentional murder.
All I can say is that's not what the court found. That's not what the jury decided. Right? We'll have to agree to disagree on that one. Why have you said online that you think Caitlin Clark has been treated the way she's been treated because she's white? Have we not seen any other athletes in professional sports get fouled hard or treated differently because they're actually really good? You think all the players in the WNBA are fouling her just because she's white?
Well, I don't think every player is fouling her because she's white. Players have made mention and brought up her race when talking about Caitlin Clark. The fact that people are saying Caitlin Clark shouldn't have been in the Olympic team, the fact that people are in mind.
Okay, we're gonna go over this again. Okay, now we're in the Caitlin Clark phase of this, sir. Maybe y'all see. This is why I know they don't read. I covered this last year. They gave her 2 opportunities while she was playing to try out for the team. They normally never do that. And this was during the WNBA season. One time, I think they said that they went to watch one of her games, and then the other one, they had her work out. I think they were playing the Sparks, and they did a workout with her in LA. And they deemed that she was not ready. No big deal. She wasn't ready. And this whole notion that they're fouling her because he's white. No. You're going to foul the stars. You're going to foul them hard. They're stars. You don't want them going off on you. Yes. Remember, this is the same folk who sat there and said Kennedy Carter need to be thrown out of the league because she did a hip check. You had an Indiana lawmaker talking about I'm putting up a resolution that should be a hate crime. A hate crime for a hip check.
Opinion hating on Caitlin Clark when evidence has proven she is probably the best player in the WNBA. She was the best player coming out of college. Her records show that she is by far up and beyond better than any of the rookies that came in. The fact that she's getting criticism.
The rookies. Great. Yes, she was the number 1 rookie. Was she the best player in the league? No, she wasn't. Damn.
They're mentioning it because she's a white girl. Many have said because she's white. That's the only reason why I'm bringing it up.
Because we haven't seen a white woman play like that, sir. We're not knocking her ability. We said she's good. She's not great. Y'all hyped her up that she was great, and now she got in the league and she's gonna be a fucking legend the first year. She's not. And it was evident in the playoffs. She got swept. And conspicuously, she gets swept. Y'all said that the ratings were going to tank, and they had some of the best playoff ratings they've had ever. Imagine that.
No, her getting fouled is a part of the game. But
What
there
player
are
on
some
the
players who have targeted her.
What player on the record? What player on the record has said I'm treating her this way because of the color of her skin?
Well, players on the record have mentioned the color of her skin when mentioning why she's as popular as she is.
Because of the media, sir, and social media, sir. That's why. Y'all are proving our point. Y'all didn't give a fuck about that league until she got there. You didn't care. Remember, this was the lesbian league. Now all of a sudden she come up in there. Y'all gave a okay. And the second that Time Magazine article came out, y'all didn't give a no more. Now y'all back to giving a y'all don't care.
Because she's good. There's no need to mention her race. But when people bring up her race in conjunction with why she's so popular, that leads me to believe that they're focusing on race.
I love how Josh is talking about insults, yet he just got here. He didn't miss the fact that both of these dudes that we're listening to insulted each other. But he talking about some insults. Okay.
Other than her merit, which to me, that means that everything that they look at when it comes to Caitlin Clark is looked through the lens of race. To them. Not to me.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, but is that why they followed Larry Bird really hard? Is that why they followed Michael Jordan really hard? Because of the color? Like, I don't understand it. I agree with you. She's probably the best player in the WNBA. Certainly the most.
Brian, wrong. She's not. Aja Wilson is, but I get it. I get it.
Exciting player to watch. We agree on that. But what I disagree with is your, in my opinion, with respect, gross assumption that they're following her hard because she's white. Now, some players have made it. I mean, I disagree with that.
I did not say every player is fouling her because she's white. I do think some players are targeting her. Many have come out in the media and have been haters, and they bring up her race as the reason.
Again, Brandon, it's because you guys in the media have hyped that girl up to a level that she's not there yet. That's why. How many times we got to explain this, sir? Y'all brought so much negativity to that league. You made a lot of the games unwatchable, and you made a lot of the fan base turn off on her because not because she's good, is because who she has behind her rooting for her. Y'all don't get this.
Why she's so popular. And so that makes me, that's just like saying if a black person was a pilot on an airplane and he got an award for being an incredible pilot, and people are saying he only got that award because he was black. And the fact that his merits show far beyond the reason why he got the award. But if a person is bringing up the fact that he only got the award because of his race, I would conclude that that person is focusing on race, and every action that they take against him or criticism is based on race.
So why are you still friends with Charlie Kirk after what he said about black pilots? Why didn't you call out people like Jack Posobiec and Ian Miles Chong when they were putting up videos of black pilots in the cockpit flying planes? Or coming out of the gate saying that I'm blessed to have finished another flight and got everybody on the plane safely? Why didn't you go on your channel and defend those black people and say that they got in those cockpits because of their merit?
Which is racism. And so when they criticize Caitlin Clark, not on her merits, not on legitimacy, but they're adding her race into something that has nothing to do with it.
Okay, Josh, great. Caitlin Clark broke records. So did Angel Reese. Are you gonna cheer Angel Reese too? Yes or no?
Race, then it leads me to believe that those players who are saying that, who then foul her, who then criticize her on the media, say she doesn't deserve the limelight, say she's not the leader of the WNBA, are doing it because of her race, which is racism, just the same way if they did it to a black person. That's just my opinion about it. I'm not in their hearts. I don't know what they honestly believe. I haven't talked to any of them. I'm drawing a conclusion.
I understand. I just respectfully disagree with you on that. I don't think they're targeting her because of race. I think they're targeting her because of a lot of reasons. Jealousy. She's the most popular player in the league, and she's.
Why are they so jealous of her though? Because there's a lot of other black players in a predominantly black league, and there's a lot of incredible black players in the league. Why all of a sudden is she the target of so much hatred and so much misunderstanding?
Because of y'all. Because of y'all. It's because of y'all. Ever since the title game when Angel went like this, it's because of y'all. Then the next year she got to the final again. Raven Johnson locked her ass up in the second half and denied her a second chance at the ring, I should say. Y'all made it worse. She got to the league. Y'all overhyped her. You made it worse. The WNBA wouldn't be having to put out statements saying we're going to have to go look into all this online bullying and harassment of our players if you guys would have just watched the games. You could celebrate Caitlin Clark. You didn't have to go fuck with the other players to make her seem better than she is. Huh.
I think that this, and I hopefully you agree with me, or people would agree with this, is that if Caitlin Clark was black, I do not think she'll be getting the criticism that she's getting. Angel Reese is incredibly popular, yet she's terrible at basketball, if you ask me. Why is she getting so...
How the fuck is she terrible, sir? And she averaged a double-double in college. How is she terrible? She was literally top 15 last year. How is she terrible? I just... All right.
Too much publicity with no criticism.
Well, this is where we will agree. Well, this is where we will have some ground where we'll agree. I'm not an Angel Reese fan. I don't think she's a very good player. I think she's extremely jealous and extremely ignorant. So we probably agree on that. But you mentioned race, Brandon. You are a contributor for Turning Point USA. You mentioned black pilots. Charlie Kirk was a guy who said, when I go on a plane, should I be worried if the pilot is black? As you know, there's no evidence to...
That's not what he said. He said, if I see a black pilot, I'm thinking, gosh, I hope he's qualified. That's what he said. He said it. And again, Brandon, you didn't say anything and said, Charlie, that was wrong. Let's put it in perspective. He didn't say anything about Charlie with the black pilots, right? But he went on his platform. Listen to this. He went on his platform and criticized Candace Owens for what she said. And that's sis to him. And criticized her for how she was dealing with Israel. And it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this. That man in front of white people, he gonna smile and he gonna dance. But when it comes to black people, that when he get violent. Unless he goes to a college and sees Ellen DeGeneres on a bike and pushes her over. Because it was a woman. The thug that he is.
Show that a black pilot has any less training than a white pilot. Why would the guy who I assume is your boss, I don't know if he's your boss, but you do work for Turning Point, why would he make such a racist statement like that? And are you willing to call that out as a black...
And Brandy, that is your boss.
Black man.
Well, look, so first of all, I don't work for Charlie, I work with Charlie. Okay. Second of all, context matters. I know Charlie personally, so I know for a fact he's not a racist. I've been working with him since 2016, 17.
Because you've been around him for a decade, right? Right, Brandon? You've been with him every day of his life for a decade, and you know he ain't no racist. Okay.
So I know Charlie very well. Charlie was making a point that needs context to it because people are taking a little small excerpt of what he said and not really expounding upon his grievance. His grievance is that they have made it about race. They have made it a priority to say, we're going to hire X amount of black pilots. So what he...
Correct. Because we went over the numbers that y'all didn't want to go look up. 81% of the pilots in America are white men. So you're telling 9 other sectors of the American populace they have to fight for 19% of the seats. Yes. They want to diversify their workforce. They have new technologies coming in, and they have people that are qualified that can't get an opportunity. What is wrong with that? And you'd be the same person if a bunch of black pilots said, okay, you know what? We finna start our own airline, and we're gonna hire nothing but black people and maybe some others. You would say that was racist.
He's saying is that when I see a black pilot, can I believe that it's based on merit, which it should be, or are they putting that person in place because of the color of that person's skin?
So, didn't he just argue merit with black people like 5 minutes ago? Okay.
He's not saying it's not really about the black person. It's about whether or not we can trust that they're getting people in positions who are minorities about.
But he's wrong. There's no evidence to suggest that a black pilot has any less training to be a pilot than somebody. Hey, he's flat out.
No. I agree with you to an extent, but this is what the qualification says. A pilot can be here and qualified, and a pilot can be here and qualified.
Oh my God. No. Oh my God. I can't believe it. If y'all follow Brandon Tatum, man, y'all need new role models for real. You ain't got to come here, but y'all need to go find somebody else to listen to. Real talk. The FAA sets out a certain guideline sheet on to be a pilot to fly commercial. That got changed after 9/11. You need tens of thousands of hours under your belt before they even let you get in that cockpit. Like, and the funny thing is, Charlie didn't even tell y'all that. He just assumed, oh, it's DEI. They just put, as soon as they get out of pilot school, aviation school, boom, they're flying commercial planes.
Right. So if the more competitive pilot that you would like to fly your plane or competitive to hire on some of these airlines or fly private are going to be the ones that you want up here that's in the top of the food chain. Now,
sorry, you're right. 1,500. My bad. It's not. Whoa, no. It's not 1,500. I was wrong. It was over 3. It was over 3,000. My bad. I don't know why I said 15. I don't know why I said tens of thousands of hours. That's my fault. No, it was over 3,000.
We should be focusing on merit. There's plenty of good pilots. You don't have to say that we need to have 6.
Dr. Bud, it was not lowered. Stop telling that lie. It was not lowered. Jeez.
Pilots, you don't need to bring that
it's
up.
Not fit. Oh God. Okay. This is just for a pilot. That's just a habit. Theirs is 3,000 for an airline. So don't tell me it's 1,500. There ain't no way an airline's gonna take that risk for somebody with 250 hours under their belt. No way.
You negate the merit base. So is the pilot good enough, or is the pilot here and you accept him because he's black versus accepting a black person that's the most competitive?
Right. Well, let's talk
the
about
problem that is going on, and this is what Charlie was talking about. Is when I see a black pilot, can I see him and say, this is the best person that they could have found that's the most competitive no matter what color? Or is this a person that just barely made it?
Yeah. Oh my God. Because they're not graded. Okay, they don't get graded. Okay. Never mind.
6 or 7 new black pilots or female pilots.
Well, I can tell you right now, none of my white friends getting on a plane are worried what the color of the skin is of a pilot.
It's not that Charlie Kirk gets on a plane and worries, because Charlie Kirk probably flies 300 days out of the year. He's probably traveling.
Yes, doctor, but the autopilot flies the planes. We know this. Next question.
He probably travel private and commercial. He travels more than anybody that you know. So is he worried?
Oh, he travels private. Private. That seems nice, doesn't it? He travels private. Now he telling everybody he dry snitching. Go ahead.
Because Charlie Kirk probably flies 300 days out of the year. He's probably traveled most. He probably travel private and commercial. He travels more than anybody.
Wait a minute. You said you've known this man for 10 years. How do you not know this?
No. So is he worried about it? No. He's bringing up a point in the discussion of, and he brought it as an example. If I see this, should I be concerned because they are focusing on race? They're claiming they're focusing on race versus merit. That's his argument.
Let's talk about merit for a moment, because I know you got to run here in a few minutes.
Right, because you getting in the cockpit, it has nothing to do with your merit. Okay. Okay. Because anybody could just come off the street and go fly a plane. You're right. You're right.
And I appreciate your time. In the Republican Party, I think we could agree black people in this country represent about 12 to 13% of the country. Why do they only represent less than 1% of the Republican Party? If in fact it's about merit.
See, Avi, you could literally go to your local airfield and start the process of flying a private plane. You could literally go on Groupon right now and go get one of them deals to go learn how to fly a plane. You literally do it. Anybody can go learn.
Black people just not qualified enough or smart enough to be Republicans in the party? Why is there less than 1% in the Republican Party that are black?
Well, here's the question that you have to ask yourself. Do you think that the Republican Party is racist? That's the reason why it's just
some are.
Yes.
Some are.
Yeah, okay, so you can say some are. Do you think that the party as a whole is a racist party that's not accepting of black people? So that's the real question you have to ask yourself.
So here's the way I would answer that. Here's what we know for sure. 93% of black women didn't vote for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Of black men.
Okay, I'll answer it. The Republican Party is racist. Yes. The Democrat Party is racist. Yes. The Conservative Party is racist. Yes. The Libertarian Party is racist. Yes. The Working Families Party is racist. Yes. The Communist Party is racist. Yes. The Green Party is racist. Yes. They're all racist, sir. The American political system is racist.
Trump. I would say as a whole, Democrats do more for people that are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, and minorities than Republicans do. Republicans want to get rid of food stamps. They want to get rid of Social Security. They want to get rid of Medicaid. They want to get rid of.
He said not true.
Help people that are struggling.
He said not true. Yet the big beautiful bill literally says it. He's literally taking Medicaid off the table for millions of people.
Country. So I would say, as a whole, policy-wise, Democrats are doing far more for the black community than the Republican Party.
Okay. Now let's digest this. Black people are still complaining about racism. Black people are still complaining about not having equal rights and all this other stuff. Now let's continue. Black people are the lowest when you look at population of education. The schools are the worst. Abortion is the highest. Murder rates are the highest. The communities are the poorest. The communities are the most violent. So if the Democrats are doing that.
Okay. Since people want to run their mouth, okay, I'll help you. Well, look at that. Well, look at that. Airplane pilot license lesson. Look at that. You can literally go on Groupon and go pay for a class. Learn how to fly a plane. And what it entails. Look at that. Ain't that something? Would you like me to buy this for you, sir? Both of you. Would you like me to do that for you? Look at this. Discovery flight for one person, 15-minute ground learning, 45 minutes in the sky. Well, ain't that something? And it's only going to cost you $129. And if you use their promo code, $109.65. No, Josh, it's not bad to fly private. No, that's not why I said that. But I figured you guys wouldn't listen. Reading comprehension. You should look at the live I did yesterday. It encapsulates both of you perfectly.
That much for black people policy-wise, then why are black people struggling?
Sir, Josh, I've shitted on Democrats a lot on this channel. So please. Thank you so much.
The bottom of the food chain in every single category in our society. Also, black people, let me finish. Black people are becoming the minority. They used to be the majority minority. Now they're getting overrun by illegal aliens and foreign immigrants who come into this country that's going to dilute the black vote, and they're going to be irrelevant. Let me just give you a fact.
Right, because it diluted the black vote. The Democrats tried that, and what happened? What happened, sir? Because remember, this is what you guys kept saying all 2020 through 2024, that they were bringing in all these illegals to dilute the black vote. What happened? Democrats got egg on their face now, didn't they? Them same illegals that they brought in went and voted for Republicans. Now, didn't they?
Black people, and you said black women voted like 98% for Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump still won by a landslide, which means that
oh God,
he won by a landslide, which means that
this nigga said a landslide. This motherfucker said a landslide. This man said he won by a landslide. How is this a landslide? Explain this to me, sir. How is this a landslide, Brandon Tatum? Josh, you shouldn't be talking about nobody being captured, boy. You follow around Brandon Tatum. Oh, God. This is a landslide according to Tatum Tots. This is considered a landslide, not what Reagan did, where his opponent won one state, and it wasn't even his home state. This is a landslide. Okay.
Black women's vote is pretty much irrelevant at this point. Hold on, let me finish this one point, and then I'll get back to you. I would go to black men. Donald Trump and the Republican Party have been gaining black male support since 2016 at a rate higher than any other Republican in history, just about. So those things matter too. So I'll give it back to you to respond to that.
Well, first of all, Donald Trump didn't win in a landslide. 49%.
He won every
hold on.
state. Okay, it's a landslide.
Okay, that's not a landslide. My God, that's not a landslide.
Not a landslide or a mandate when you don't get more than 50% of the vote.
It doesn't matter because we don't run our elections based on popular vote.
Oh, thank you, C. Abby, for admitting that Tatum is rich as fuck because of his popularity. Not about what he's saying, about his popularity, because he says what people are too afraid to say on the white side of the aisle. Thank you for admitting that.
Election based on electoral college votes.
Okay, but you said
won every swing state.
I'm not saying he didn't win, Brendan, but when you use the term landslide, it was one of the closest elections in American history. If you want to talk about history,
it was not close. It was not close.
He won the popular vote by 1.4%. Did Joe Biden
popular vote, or are you talking about the electoral college?
When you use the term landslide, you are making the case that more people in this country support Donald Trump than they don't. That is not true.
Or we listen. The reason why we have an electoral college is because people can get fair representation. It is not the fault of the president of the United States that California has a whole bunch of people in it. Most of our argue millions of illegals in it. And if they decide to vote in one way, that's not a representation.
Well, what about all the Republicans that left? Quote unquote Republicans and conservatives that left California during the pandemic. What about them?
Brandon, he won the swing states by about 350,000 votes.
He won every swing state,
by about 300.
every bellwether county.
Again,
he really won more. And he got more votes than any Republican in the history of the existence of the Republican Party.
Okay, but again, I'm going back to what I said earlier. It was one of the closest elections in American history. That's not a landslide and that's not a mandate. I just disagree with you on the verbiage.
You can disagree, but what does the American people say? He actually won the popular vote, which a Republican had done.
1.4%. Right. He won by 1.
But he won the popular vote, though.
But that's not a landslide, sir. That's what okay. Okay. Since Brandon don't know, I mean, he could have just looked this up. A very large margin, significantly surpassing their opponents. He didn't significantly pass her. Like, I don't understand this. Sir, how did he significantly pass her? He beat her by what? 2.3 million votes. What do you mean? The numbers are right there. How is this a landslide? Even MAGA conservatives don't even say that this was a landslide. They just say he beat her. But you're not a Trump show. Okay.
All of the backlash, all the stuff that you say about him being Hitler and all this other stuff.
I never called him Hitler, so that's
you may not have said it. You may not have said it. Those are two different sentences.
Well, let's talk about that.
And then also people call him Hitler. Okay, he still won.
Sir, Finkler, 2 million is not significant. You're talking about 50 states. That's only 40,000 per state. That's not significant. Okay, we're gonna have to do this again. Okay. All right. Since y'all forgot what a landslide looks like, this is a landslide. The man he defeated didn't even win. He barely won his home state. Barely. See? Right there. That's a landslide.
So he lost. It's not a mandate. I don't think you understand what the definition of a mandate is. With all due respect,
people spoke and they wanted it
again.
Oh my God! This fool said, "Give me $2 million." That's supposed to compare to 2 million votes. My God, Jesus. Okay, great. Take $1 from 2 million people and tell me that's significant. Ask them if that's gonna hurt them.
And 49% of the people who voted for Donald Trump. So you keep calling it a mandate, and that's 100% not true. It wasn't a mandate. Let's talk about his character for a little bit, if I may.
Are we going to talk about his character or his policy?
Yeah. We can do both. I'm happy to do both.
Which one matters for the voters? His character?
Everybody votes differently, Brandon. So I choose not to vote for an adjudicated rapist. I choose not to vote for a guy who dodged the military. I choose not to vote for a guy who calls our brave men and women suckers and losers or sits on. Oh, okay. Well, if you think General Kelly. General Kelly.
Go with facts. Go with facts.
I am going with facts.
That's not a fact.
So So if you want to say General Kelly is lying about it, then you go ahead and believe Donald Trump over General Kelly. But he is a liable sexual abuser who's had 25 women come forward, including his ex-wife, in court documents, who said that he raped her. How do you look at your children and say, I'm voting for a liable sexual abuser, a guy who dodged the military? You know that from the doctor's family who wrote his fake loans.
Who did you go for?
I voted for Joe Biden, 100%.
Now you did see Joe Biden's daughter's journal.
Here comes the whataboutism. You want to talk about?
I'm saying, hey, you saying I voted for somebody?
I will have.
What? Cameron, what do you mean she had zero chance of winning? Y'all really don't know how elections work. Oh God. You don't even know what a landslide is. Cameron, don't talk no more. Just stay in the back. Jesus
fully
Christ.
explain that to you, but I'm very curious how you just immediately flipped to what
I don't care.
Why, sir, why are you comparing this to Bush Gore? Oh Lord. Why are you comparing an election that happened almost a quarter century ago? Why are you doing that? The only reason why I brought up Reagan was to show you what a landslide looked like. That was not a landslide.
You don't care about a man who sexually abuses a woman, right, Brandon? You don't care.
I just showed him, hold up, family. I just showed that man a popular vote, 2 million people. He gonna tell me that one? Oh, never mind. Never mind.
If he was somehow raising my kids, then I would care. I don't care if, when it comes to me voting for him for president. He's far better than the other.
You can be a rapist. You don't care if somebody's a rapist. You don't care.
I don't believe. Here's the thing. Let me explain this, because what happened with him and that lady at Dillard's 30 something years ago with no witnesses, I don't believe that was true. I believe that was a
witness. What about the 20 or 30 women that claimed they were raped by Bill Cosby? Would you say the same thing about?
This is the thing. Some of them had evidence and witnesses who witnessed him give them quaaludes in conversations that had been had. That's a different story. That's why Bill Cosby's in jail.
What do you mean? What? Say that again.
The thing. Some of them had evidence and witnesses who witnessed him give them quaaludes in conversations that had been had.
Did you see all the other
story? That's why Bill Cosby's in jail.
This fool said Bill Cosby was in jail. Bill Cosby's in jail? Oh my God. Brandon Tatum just said Bill Cosby is in jail. That man has been home. When did he get out? 2023, right? No, he did 3 years. Bill Cosby been home for at least 3 years, right? Again, if you follow and consume Officer Tatum's content, you got to start questioning things that he says. I get y'all like him because he like to dunk on black people and lefties. I get that. But when it comes to honest political discussions, he doesn't know. He doesn't even know stuff in the short term.
So you don't believe the same thing for Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not convicted of a crime. This is civil liability.
What do you mean he wasn't convicted of a crime? He got 34 felonies. What are you talking about? That was criminal court, so that wasn't civil court. What? Oh Lord.
Okay, so criminal act. So the 25 women that have come forward. And by the way, Bill Cosby's not in jail.
He said not. He said a criminal act.
That have come forward. By the way, Bill Cosby's not in jail. The 25 women that have come forward.
He was in jail. He got convicted. Bill Cosby went to prison.
He went to prison. You said he's in jail, meaning he's in there now. You don't even know what he's saying.
25 women that have come forward that have said Donald Trump raped or sexually abused them, including his ex-wife under deposition. Donald Trump bragged about going into teenage girls' locker rooms. Well, I know you.
Why is he not in jail?
I'm trying to finish here. Just because he's not in jail doesn't mean he didn't do some horrible things.
Well, the thing is that you're innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. He's innocent of any criminal act. Not unless you want to get sued. He's innocent of any criminal act.
So
how is he innocent of any criminal act if he has 34 felonies on his record? And they gave him a sweetheart deal saying, if you don't appeal these, we're not going to throw you in jail. Because trust me, he would lose on appeal.
He's a 34 count felon. You do
you're saying the accusations of rape. I'm saying he's innocent of those things until proven guilty in the court of law.
Was he been proven that he's a 34 count felon?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you have no problem voting for a 34 count felony.
What was his felonies for?
Teenage girls. Hold on a second.
What was his felonies for?
Hold on 1 second.
You can't even.
What? Hunter, how does he not have 34 felonies on his record? What are you talking about? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Hunter, if he got the 34 felonies taken off, you don't think he'd be all over social media saying how he beat the system? What's this say? That's literally what he got convicted for. And they didn't send him to jail because his people negotiated that. What do you mean he don't have that? Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'll get to that. Okay. Brandon, Donald Trump admitted to going into teenage girls' locker rooms, beauty pageant locker rooms, without their permission, bragged about it sexually on the Howard Stern show. Do you care about that at all? Trump admitted it on the Howard Stern show.
How long ago was that?
Wait a minute, Hunter. What do you mean BE charges? You mean he got breaking and entering charges? I didn't know he broke in and took shit. I didn't know that. Oh Lord.
Oh, so if it happened 30 years ago, you're okay with it?
Man, look, it's not relevant to me voting for him.
It's not relevant. Okay, that's fine. So if someone goes into, it's relevant for you when it comes to transgenders going into locker rooms. You hate that and you talk about it all the time. But if a straight man 30 years ago bragged sexually about looking at 15 and 16-year-old girls.
Tariffs will take time? Oh, okay. Right. Tariffs going to take time. He backed off of him 4 times. It's going to take time. Sir, we don't have that time. The global south and BRICS are surpassing us every day. The people don't have the time. Our children don't have the time. He said he'd have deals in place in his first 100 days. We're way past that now. His people just agreed with China to have a framework to do deals. How much longer we gotta wait? You didn't have to vote for Trump. You chose to vote for Trump. Because if you say you're a registered Dem and you didn't like Kamala, you could have stayed home. You could have wrote a 3rd candidate. Or an 8th, such as it was. You chose to vote for Trump, which is fine. I'm not mad that you did. But don't sit up here and act like he's benevolent and he ain't doing nothing wrong. Let's not do that. Let's be honest.
It's naked. You're totally okay with that, but you want to talk about transgenders going into bathrooms. Do you see the hypocrisy, Brandon?
No, let's talk about it. I have never heard Trump say that, so I can't really verify. I'm just going off your words. I've never heard Donald Trump say anything like that. I've never heard Donald Trump admit to a crime on Howard Stern and not get prosecuted for it. So I've never heard of that.
So he admitted it on the Howard Stern show. That he
admitted a crime on the Howard Stern show and didn't get prosecuted.
Well, he talked about it on the Howard Stern show.
He talked about sex. Right. You telling me he committed a crime?
I didn't say he committed a crime. I said,
if you, what is your I didn't say he If he went into a girl's locker room without their consent and they're underage, that's a crime.
Correct. He was the owner.
But he was the owner of the pageant, and he bragged about going in there and seeing them teenage girls and how their bodies look. That's not a crime, but it sounds weird if you say that on the radio. And he actually laughed after he said it. Him and Howard laughed after he said it. That's who he's saying you support.
So you telling me he admitted this on Howard Stern show?
Yeah, I'm not telling you.
Josh, you think he cares about the people? Boy, man, me and you got to talk one day.
Well, I've never seen it, so I can't verify what you're saying. All I'm saying is that is not in the wheelhouse of things that I consider when it comes to Donald Trump. I have not heard of that. I do not believe he's a rapist. Donald Trump has been nothing but good for this country. He may have had things he's done in the past just like everybody else.
Was January 6th good for the country?
Hey, Donald Trump, in my opinion, Donald Trump didn't have anything directly to do with what
Donald Trump didn't say.
Oh Lord, he told all the people to go to January 6th, sir. He literally told them we're gonna have a rally in DC that day. Come on, dude. Why do you think MAGA flew all over the country to DC for, sir? Come on. Let's not do that. He did a whole speech in front of Washington Monument, sir. I was on the ground that day, sir. Let's not do that, sir. You were tucked away in Texas. Let's not do that, sir. Come on. We gotta be honest. Let's go.
The election was stolen and he conceded. Just January 6th happened? Yes or no?
Well, let's put it this way.
No.
I don't know what would have happened, but Donald Trump told them.
Well, Brian, to be fair, even if he conceded, he probably would have said the same stupid shit too. He probably would have told him still come to DC that day. Correct, Josh. He's not a politician. So how can you tell me he cares about the people? And technically, he is a politician. He's held office before, so in the sense he is a politician. But fine, we'll go with your assertion. He's not a politician. Does that mean he cares about the people? You're a politician. Do you care about everybody? How does he care about the people when he sends $400 billion over to the Middle East? How does that care about the people when we need the money here? How does that help us? Grocery prices are not down. That can help us. Josh, since he's been in office, he hasn't done anything right. He couldn't even get Garcia to stay out of the country. They had to bring him back to stand charges, and he's going to be jailed here on our tax dollars. Yeah, I would say he didn't do anything right. A-Rock, don't do that. Because let me tell y'all something. If the Democrats would have won and they were pulling this bullshit, y'all would be sitting outside saying, what the fuck? How do y'all promise all this shit during the election cycle and you're not doing it? Y'all would be outside saying, impeach them. We're not doing this. His own base is starting to turn on him. His people that he has in Congress and the Senate are starting to turn on him. They figured out the grift. He's for Wall Street. He's not for Main Street. Y'all still not figuring this out because he got you focused on China. Y'all better start waking up. It's going to get bad starting next month. But okay, y'all still want to go there.
Them not to be violent.
Wait, hold on. So you're
Donald Trump tell them not to be violent.
Look, and there it is. I watch CNN. Fam, Tabernacle, who been here? You want to tell A-Rock who's the first website I go to when I start talking about news politically? Y'all want to tell him?
My question: If Donald Trump conceded,
inflation ain't cooling.
A person has in our history of this country and said, "Congratulations, Mr. Biden." You're telling me you don't know, and you still think that maybe
Donald Trump wasn't the only one that thought that the election was stolen. He wasn't the only person.
It wasn't.
Listen. Can you listen? You got to listen. There was also people who watched the way the election went, watched it on election night. Tons of people were upset about the results of the election.
Who cares? The Earth's not flat. There's people that think the Earth is flat. It doesn't mean they're right.
What I'm saying is that that alone could have caused people to have an uproar outside of Trump.
Because Donald Trump, after the election, said that it was stolen.
Did he say to not be violent?
You don't have to say.
No. Did he say to not be violent?
He said he did not say go in there and beat up police officers.
He never told them to go in the Capitol. He said go and let your voice be heard peacefully.
You're not answering my question. If Donald Trump conceded, which every other president in history has done, you're telling me you still think January 6th would have happened? Brendan, that's ridiculous.
Am I supposed to be a fortune teller? You're asking me to give a hypothetical.
They did that.
I don't know. I believe that the election was stolen regardless of what Donald Trump said.
And what evidence do you have that?
I thought it was stolen.
And what?
Sir, how was it stolen? There was wonkiness, but there's wonkiness in every election. It was not stolen from. He didn't sell his platform correctly. Yes, he had to deal with C19. He didn't sell the platform correctly. He was the incumbent. When you're an incumbent, you have to fight harder. All Joe Biden and them had to do was coast on his mistakes. He had to fight. He did not fight. Number one, he already divided the base on the fact that he was pushing the Bell Biv DeVos. He already pissed off a lot of his base because he was sitting there with Fauci. Maybe Brandon forgot about this. A lot of people did not vote in 2020. Okay. CPI inflation data is muted as tariff impact is limited. Inflation rate edged higher by 2.4 in May. CPI report shows. You still want to tell me that it's cooling? Sir, I look at this data every day. So I can better tell my people how to move. So go ahead and tell me, somebody who looks at financial data every day, that inflation is cooling. By the way, if inflation was cooling, you don't think your president would be outside saying that inflation is cooling? The only thing he said close to this was prices were going down, and he was mainly going off gas. So go ahead, please tell me again that the CPI report is lying. Sir, okay, inflation rate edged higher by 2.4 in May. Would you like me to play the video? The consumer price index in May rose 2.4% on an annual basis, reflecting a cooler than expected increase. Increase! It wasn't crazy. It was a lot less than they thought. It's still an increase. Like, it's like y'all don't get it. The tariffs are going to... Never mind. Y'all just wait. They forecasted 2.5. It lost 1/10 of a percentage point. And you call that cooling? Oh, Lord. Never mind. Never mind. It's cooling, but April was 2.3. But it's cooling, right? Okay. Josh, don't talk no more.
What evidence has been proven in a court of law, Brandon, that happened?
We have seen whether it's proven in the court of law because they believe he didn't have enough evidence there to have standing is irrelevant.
No, Jonathan, I said nobody's getting blocked. No, I'm sticking by that.
So what people have seen.
Let me get this right.
They have admitted that there have been cheating in the election. They said it's not consequential. That's what they say.
Let me just understand this, Brandon, in context. So when it comes to Donald Trump and rape allegations and all that, you're like, it's got to be proven in a court of law. I don't believe you ever raped somebody.
It's not just proven in the court of law, brother. It's not just proven in the court of law from Donald Trump. There has to be some level of evidence.
And where's the evidence?
There's no criminal evidence.
And where's the level of evidence that the 2020 election was stolen?
No. If you're going to say this, then you got to shut your mouth about everything you claim Trump did because it was not brought to the court of law.
What?
They're claiming that, first of all, he was found liable for sexual abuse.
That's not criminal.
Okay, whether it's criminal or not, Brandon, he's a bad guy and he's treated women. Okay, so you think bragging about sexual assault doesn't make somebody
bad guy? Bragging about sexual assault? I've never seen a clip in bragging about
grabbing women by the genitals.
He said that they like him to grab him by the genitals and they let him. They like him.
So you're defending that as
That's
well.
not a sexual assault.
He raw dogged a porn star right when Melania had Barron. Are you defending that behavior as well?
I wasn't there. How do you know that happened?
Oh, you're right. It didn't happen. I'm sure he just paid her.
Did he admit that it happened? Did he say that?
I believe everything Donald Trump says, just like you.
Charles, I'm a former cop. When somebody says this, another person says this, is it proven or not? She said he did it. He said he did it. Where's the proof at?
Okay, so let's believe Donald Trump then. He's not a
You can believe him or you don't have to believe him, but you can't make a declaratory statement to say that he did something and you don't have no evidence.
Right, but yet
So why would he pay her if he didn't do nothing? Why would you give somebody money for something that you didn't do? Why would you do that? Let me guess. Y'all about to tell me he got Me Too'd, right? Did he ever once say that Stormy Daniels was lying? Okay.
2020 election was stolen, Brandon.
That's my belief. I can't.
Well, guess what? It's my belief. It's my belief that Donald Trump is a rapist. That's my belief. Yeah, that's my belief. But it doesn't matter whether he went into teenage locker rooms. It doesn't matter the way he's treated women his whole life. None of that stuff matters to you. Just policy, right? You don't call out Donald Trump for anything.
I call Donald Trump out on things that I know that are true about him, and I call him out.
Like what?
I don't know if any of those things are true. There's also been, like with the 34 felonies was a bunch of hill of beans. Nobody in the history of this country has ever been charged for the things they charged him with. He was past the point of prosecuting. Then they brought up another. Like, you cannot tell me right now what he was charged with.
You're a cop. You don't look for new evidence. You're not going to take it to solve a crime. Okay, go ahead, cop.
The 34 count felonies.
34 count felonies are what?
Bank wire fraud. I mean,
which is not a felony. None of those crimes that they claim he committed is prosecutable because they was past the point of prosecution. What they did was they created an extra. They said if you do this in the commission of trying to cover up something else, therefore they can make it a felony, and therefore now they can prosecute him. I don't know how many years later. It was a bunch of hill of beans. That's why they never put him in jail.
Haven't the IRS gone after people years later for not paying their taxes? Have they not done that? How many black celebrities have we seen go to jail for not paying their taxes from years past? So Brandon's arguing that people can't get charged for crimes they committed in the past because somebody found evidence now? Huh? Okay, go ahead.
You haven't heard about certain things that I brought up. When it comes to Donald Trump being convicted in a court of law, you call it a kangaroo court. You don't believe
it. But you can say convicted or not. I just say I thought it was illegitimate, but you can say it's convicted. So what?
It's illegitimate, but how many times have you talked about the Biden crime family and Hunter Biden?
I talk about it just like I talk about what has happened with him. I'm not saying that it's proven in the court of law that he did it.
No, that's
but I do have concerns, just like the FBI has concerns, and they've investigated these things. Right. Hunter Biden is clearly doing nefarious things. He got it on record. So was Joe Biden.
What did Joe Biden do?
Well, Joe Biden had top secret information in his house that was not secure.
He cooperated.
The only reason that they did prosecute him is because they said that he was not mentally there enough to testify in court, and that's the only reason why he didn't get prosecuted.
That's not 100% true. Also, he cooperated.
That's what her said. The investigator.
He cooperated with the FBI. Donald Trump defied a subpoena for a year, but you seem to be forgetting some actual facts here. Donald Trump defied a subpoena for a year. Joe Biden and his attorney cooperated with the FBI. I'm telling you why. Okay, he's the president of the United States.
No, he wasn't president when they found this out.
Right. When was he supposed to be sentenced, Brandon?
Before the election.
Okay, so I think you have your dates mixed up a little bit, Brandon, but that's okay. It's cool.
He's supposed to be sentenced before the election.
Okay, so
and then they moved sentencing.
Donald Trump
sentenced him before the election, but they continued the case.
What? Sir, no. He was supposed to be sentenced in September, which he got sentenced. That's why they said you were guilty, but we're not going to throw you in jail. I think it was September 19th, if I remember correctly. That was the condition of what him and the lawyers and the courts decide. Okay, you're going to have these convictions, but we're not going to throw you in jail. You're not going to do any jail time. And I'm sure one of the conditions was, like I said earlier, you can't appeal it. And matter of fact, when they said that, and it came out that he didn't get any type of jail time, MAGA was sitting online celebrating. So I don't know what Brandon's talking about. And what case is still being litigated? It's not this one. Okay.
we'll see what happens after Donald Trump leaves office. But I think that the narrative that I'm hearing, Brandon, is you struggle to criticize Donald Trump.
What do you want me to criticize him about? Factual things that I disagree with Donald Trump doing, I would criticize him.
How can you criticize factual things when you sit before me right now and claim that Donald Trump won the 2020 election? Brandon, with all due respect, you cannot
say what you want to say. The man had more votes in 2016. 2020 had millions more people, and in 2024 he had millions more people.
Wait, didn't 2020? Didn't he have like 81 million? Or was that Joe Biden? That was probably Joe Biden. My bad. So Joe Biden got 81 million, right? So he got 74. Now Trump got 77. Okay. So explain to me again how this was a landslide. He only went up 3 million votes. And the Democrats lost about 4. How is that a landslide?
In the history of this country, been a person that have won all the bellwether counties that he won in 2020 and didn't win the election. There's no president that won Iowa and didn't win the election.
That's why.
Thank you, Janet. But okay, that's Georgia. He got convicted in New York. They're arguing over New York. And he's saying that was BS. How was it BS? He put the money down as a business expense.
They got millions of more votes in the second term or second run for office than win presidency. There are so many anomalies that occurred in this election. That's why people are concerned. That's why people believe that it was a stolen election. You can say what you want to say. The Democrats said that Donald Trump rigged the election in 2016. Who said that? They did it for 3 years.
Who said that? Whoa, who said that?
Who said that?
I said no. They did an investigation. They said the Russians colluded.
Who said that it was rigged? Who said that it was rigged? Who? Name me one prominent Democrat that said the 2016 election.
Hillary Clinton.
No, she didn't. You're a liar.
I hate Hillary Clinton with a passion, but she didn't say that. She didn't say it was rigged. She said she don't know what happened. There was a lot of things that didn't look like it was on the level. And I hate this woman. You don't think if she would have said that, they would have been run? The reason Brandon said that is because a whole bunch of right-wingers took this and made it seem like she said it was stolen from her.
No, she said it's an illegitimate election.
Brandon, no, you are wrong.
Put $1,000 on it right now. Put $1,000 on it.
Of him illegitimate.
No, let's put $1,000 on it, and I'll show you.
I don't know if you have $1,000, Brandon.
You said what?
Do you have $1,000? I don't know.
I have. What? I'm a millionaire. What are you talking about?
Congratulations on that.
And there you go. And there you go. They don't want to save the country. They just want to be celebrities. He just admitted it. All you had to say, Brandon, is, yes, I have $1,000. He said, I'm a millionaire. Oh, boy. The one with the African name. You said what Democrat president got 80 million votes? This one. The asshole Biden. Unless y'all gonna tell me these are fake numbers, then the entire election system is fake. But yeah, she got 80. He got 81. Remember, this is what a lot of them Republicans and MAGA and conservatives were saying were fake numbers. How did he get 81 million? Nobody like him. I mean, it's right there. Sir, I have nothing to be jealous of Brandon over. Nothing. Okay, he's a millionaire. So what? That's life.
Give you let's bet $1,000.
Okay, this is the prerequisite. She called him illegitimate.
She said that he's an illegitimate president.
Right, correct. She didn't say that the election was illegitimate, which is what
it was illegitimate because the Russians stole the election.
She never said that the Russians.
That's not what you said, Brandon. That's not what you said.
An illegitimate president.
The Russians interfered and stole the election.
Well, they did interfere. They did interfere.
She said they stole the election.
Okay, so you're claiming that Hillary said that the election was stolen. Is that what you're saying? Okay, well, you're wrong. You're wrong.
I'm sorry. Put your money on? We can bet.
I would happily do that. She called him illegitimate. She called him an illegitimate.
Also said that the election was taken by the Russians. It was an illegitimate. He's an illegitimate president. Why did she say he's an illegitimate president?
But that doesn't mean if you say that the election was stolen. Oh God. And it's funny, y'all keep talking about, oh, he's a millionaire. But y'all brag about not shopping at companies that produce millionaires. Y'all don't understand that this man's entire net worth is tied to YouTube. And if they demonetized him, he ain't a millionaire no more. He literally became a millionaire off of YouTube. But, okay. Since y'all want to talk about why I was laughing, I'm laughing at the fact that YouTube, the way it's structured, they can take away your shit just like that. Because y'all act like this man gets monthly donations. He barely goes live. But, okay. He's a millionaire. All right. So that's great. Because money is everything, right? All right.
The same reason why
the Russians helped him get elected.
You're making an assumption.
I didn't make an assumption. She said it. That's why they investigated him.
I say that
they investigated him.
They did, and I say that he's an illegitimate president as well.
Go ahead, Jacob. Prove it.
Because of his behavior, what he said about John.
Go ahead and prove he tells the truth, because he tells the truth because he's lied multiple times in this.
Brandon,
No, but this is factual. You're bringing up Hillary Clinton's statement, not yours. I'm not talking about.
She never said the election was stolen. She never said
that the election. They went on the news media for 3 years saying that Donald Trump worked with the Russians to steal the election. You can look it up.
That's the media. My God.
For yourself.
Brandon, you know that I'll happily bet you money. I'll happily bet you money, Brandon. She never said that the election was stolen. She never said that it was
a rigged election. So she said, I'll give you a whole montage. Everybody in the media saying that Donald Trump.
Listen, we could do montages. We could do montages all day long, Brandon. She never said that the election was rigged, which is exactly the term that you just used. She did call him a legitimate president.
They did an investigation.
But now all of a sudden you care about election.
The Russians to steal the election.
So now all of a sudden you care about election denialism, but yet you have no problem.
I don't care. She can say what she want to say. I don't have a problem with Hillary saying it. They did an investigation. She was wrong. Now, Donald Trump, he hadn't had a chance to go and to be litigated. You can argue what you want. He's the president now.
Okay.
That's not what you said. African name. That's not what you said. See? You see how they lie? That's not what you said. Would you like me to repeat what you said? When has any Democrat president got 80 million votes to look at that smart guy? You said any. Any. You did not say name another time. You said any. By the way, before, because they got called out, right? Because that's what they do. Because I know you're going to go back up there and delete it. So please, miss me.
He's so unpopular. Why is he the president today?
We had the lowest approval ratings in the first 100 days.
You say whatever approval rating you want. That's like the stock market.
It doesn't matter, right? Anything I give you facts, you say it doesn't matter, and you just brush it off to the side.
You voted for a man that had the lowest approval rating out of any president in history and was a terrible president.
Okay.
He was a terrible president. He literally had.
A lot of people voted for Bush and he had low approval ratings. A lot of people voted for Obama and he had low approval ratings. I mean, what the fuck? Every president is not going to be popular all 4 years. They're gonna piss people off. It's okay.
Dementia.
Are you a doctor?
Functioning
Are you a doctor? Are you a doctor?
They wrote a book now.
Are you a
They wrote
doctor?
a book about it.
Oh, what are the sources on that book?
Jay Tapper wrote a book about it. He talked
I was
Sir, African name. We got off of that 5 minutes ago. What the fuck is you talking about? We didn't even bring it up. You pissed off that I laughed that he said he a millionaire. Why did he bring that up? He did that to try to flex on the white boy, which made no sense. All you had to say is, yes, I have $1,000. Let's bet.
Insider in Washington, D.C.
Name me an insider.
Well, I don't read the book, but Jay Tapper wrote a book.
All of a sudden, you have to jump right in.
Oh, now, African name. Now, how you gonna tell that lie? Nobody's buying Brandon Tatum shirts like that to make him a millionaire. Cut it out. Okay, fine. Then tell him, since y'all believe that, tell him to turn off his monetization for 30 days and tell me that it ain't gonna affect him. Go ahead. And by the way, Dan Bongino getting a paycheck from the government, and he was getting money over there on Rumble. So I don't know what you're talking about. But it's okay. When Dan Bongino leaves the Trump administration, y'all gonna see his net worth skyrocket, but y'all gonna tell me, oh, he deserved that. Let me help y'all with these quote unquote fake ass conservatives that showed up a decade ago. YouTube made them stars. YouTube made them millionaires. You got the example from Fresh and Fit. You see what happened when they lost YouTube. Their significance went in the toilet, their money started drying up. They're out there now. They could have stayed on YouTube, still did the same thing that they were doing before. All they had to do, and YouTube told them, just clean up your language. That's it. And stop throwing out shit about them Jews. And we'll keep giving you money. They didn't want to do that. Cool, that's their prerogative. Now where they at? They're streaming on Rumble, which doesn't even have the same pay structure as YouTube. Steven Crowder is lucky because he got the Mug Club. He got a subscription-based service tied to his business. That's the only reason why he's still able to make money and keep his lifestyle. They're all trying to get to the Spotify Joe Rogan grift. That's the level. I didn't bring up Dan Jacob. Somebody else brought him up. Maybe you need to read the comments. Sir, Brandon Tatum don't tell the truth. People like me and others on YouTube done caught him in many lies already. He don't tell the truth. He tells what y'all want to hear. But we get it.
What did you write a book?
Name me
Did write a book?
incredible
The press
source.
secretary wrote a book.
And what are the sources? Tell me, since you know somebody got the source.
in a book.
The source.
They said they talk. They going on a tour. You can deny this if you want.
I don't care about
They going on a tour.
I don't care about it.
They going on Fox. They
Name me
going
one
on
doctor.
every legitimate.
Name me one doctor. I don't care what networks are on. By the way,
They went on every network.
Jacob, we literally showed how he didn't even know Bill Cosby was out of jail. I just showed y'all. He said that Hillary Clinton said the election was stolen from her, and it's right there. She never said that. He literally couldn't even explain Uvalde, and he's a cop. The man did a video on vacation trying to tell his crowd about a retired officer who got run off his bike by two idiots in a car and said both of them were black because he heard the N-word being thrown around. When you clearly see one of their arms was not black, and then when the report came out, when they got arrested, one of them was a white Hispanic. He literally lied on Tyree Nichols and then did another video coming back and doubling down on the lie after the evidence came out. But you're right. Brandon Tatum don't lie. You're right.
And claimed that insiders in the Biden administration told them.
Name me one.
You can see it. Can you not see it?
I'm asking you. You can't even name one. You're trying to make a point. You can't even name one person.
Listen. I don't need to name one. People have wrote a book about it.
You can't name one because you don't
I don't care about.
Right.
I don't care.
Talk about things that you don't care about. You just
there's a book. There was a book that was written.
I understand. He's a reporter. I understand. He's on CNN.
And then he's lying.
Name me one source in the book.
He said he's lying.
I'm saying that it was a money grab, just like the shirts that you sell and what you sell on your website. It's a money grab.
Okay, let's prove that the shirts that I sell on my website.
I think you're the male version of Candace Owens.
It is a money grab. You literally sell shirts on your YouTube page. It's a money grab. I'm not saying you can't do it, but don't act like you're just doing it to be benevolent. You're doing it to get extra money. You're running a business off your page. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're monetizing the bullshit you say to people on the right because you've ingratiated yourself with them because you say what they want to hear. It's okay. Sir, his business is making t-shirts with sayings that if something popular shows up, he puts it on there. Okay, fine.
That's what you are. I'll explain it. I don't think you believe half the things that you say. I think you say it so much. I think a lot of middle-aged, crusty white Republicans love you because you say the things that they want to say, and they love hearing a black man say it. I do think you're a grifter.
I don't believe the things that
I don't think you believe a lot of the things you say. No,
he doesn't show the news. He's a reaction channel. He doesn't show the news. Let's get that correct. He's a reaction channel.
I don't believe Donald Trump. You think that Donald Trump is good for black people? You think that Republicans are good for
black votes than he's gained more black traction and votes from black people than
he's going to 93% of black women didn't vote for him. Yes, that's why.
The men voted him in record numbers.
You spew right-wing talking points, and that's why I say you're the male version of Candace Owens and you're a grifter. Now I'm trying to be respectful.
You got evidence.
I am giving evidence. You fair?
Okay, Brandon, since he won't give evidence, I will. You admitted you grifted over the Trump because of the election in 2016. You admitted you used to be a liberal. You've done interviews with other channels and said, I used to be on the left. You said it. So you're a grifter. That's okay. Admit the grift. It's okay.
Ever criticize Donald Trump for anything?
I criticize him all the time.
Oh, yeah, right, all the time. But yet you don't know anything about him in the teenage locker rooms. He won the 2020 election. Unreliable abuse and the way he's treated women.
The President of the United States of America. I criticize him on what he's done as the president.
Okay, and what has he done as the president that's so great?
Well, where do you want to start with?
Well, you said that one of the reasons why
I think the way he's handled the terrors, his global leadership, what he's done in the Middle East.
All right, let's talk about that.
People have invested money into the United States of America by trillions.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about world peace. One of the reasons why you voted for Donald Trump is for world peace. Is that he said he was going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. I'm just wondering, how's that working out?
Yeah, but he's making an effort to do it.
Oh, yes,
he's making an effort.
Don't interrupt me. If you're going to have me on your show, let me talk. He's making an effort to communicate with Putin. He's making an effort with Zelensky. You saw Zelensky come to the White House, and then Zelensky wanted to come back to negotiate about a ceasefire situation. Now, let's move on to Israel.
No. We'll get to Israel. Okay. You just said he's doing everything he can. He said
I think he's making an effort.
You said, hold on. You said all he had to do is pick up the phone and the war would be over in 24 hours.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah, well,
and he's still making an effort.
he he campaigned on it, making an effort. Well, he has said every day that Putin wants peace, and every single time he says that, Putin puts on another air raid, and innocent people.
Ukraine just did an air raid on Russia just recently. They did not strikes. They did not. Mutual combat.
No, it's
not. What is your point, man?
No,
Donald Trump got elected for a reason. Donald Trump is doing real tariffs in the economy. He's closing the border. He's doing all the things he said he was going to do.
Yeah, really? Yes. Did he end the war? Did he end the war? Did he end the war?
Did he not close the border?
I'm asking you a question. He ran on a couple things, and let's go back to 2016. We're going to hire a special prosecutor.
Let's go with what he ran on for 20
Sure. I'll end the war in 24 hours. I'll end the war in 24 hours.
He said, he did say that. It didn't work.
By the way, since y'all want to tell me that he ain't grifting, his words. But y'all right. He ain't grifting. Okay. Okay.
Anyway.
So what? Okay. So what? Okay. So if he promises something and it doesn't work,
4 years.
Brandon,
4 years to
stay 4 years. He ran on. I would end the war in 24 hours.
That's fine. If he doesn't do 100% of everything he said he was going to do, is it the end of the world? No.
No, Brandon. Let me help you. No. And I said this, and the Tabernacle backed me up. You don't put out statements like that if you don't have a plan. You can't say you're going to end a war the first day back in office and you have no plan. He had no plan to end that war. He had no plan to end Israel and Gaza. You can't say the second day grocery prices are going to go down. You had no plan. We understand that politicians are going to make promises like that. We get that. But you're running to get back in office. You can't be saying stuff like that. And your base doesn't hold you to say, hey, how are you going to do this so we can articulate it to people? And then you get upset when people start asking you about it. That's what pissed people off. But yes, they still voted for him. He's still in there. And now we're seeing he never had a plan and things are not working out. The wars are still going on. And tariffs, again, he backed off 4 times. 4. And the only people getting rich off all this chaos is Wall Street.
Okay. So he ran
on a reasonable person. You're irrational.
Oh, how am I irrational?
Because I understand that Donald Trump is going to do all he can to better the country. There are things that are going to happen. There's things that are not going to happen. I think he's made a concerted effort to do those things. Shutting the border down. Working with terrorists to get us better negotiations. We've had over 60 countries.
Why do you keep bringing?
We had over 60 countries come to the negotiation table. Our negotiation with terrorists with China, we had the tariffs were up at an astronomical number. They are now meeting the negotiate tariff negotiations.
How many negotiations have been made? He said 90 deals in 90 days. Can you please tell me, Brandon, how many deals have been made since you want to talk about this?
UK.
To talk about some of this.
Okay, well, to me, you don't know. The answer is 0. He hasn't made any negotiations.
Well, that doesn't mean he won't. What are you whining about?
But he said.
Well, that's a lie, white boy. He negotiated a deal with the UK. He did do that, which helps the UK more than us. But if we're gonna go by tariffs.
90 deals in 90 days.
There's the difference between you and somebody that, in my opinion, is a high achiever. If somebody that's their goal is to accomplish goals that are here. If he falls short on some of the goals in his effort to do it, I understand that. That's reasonable.
Reasonable that he says 90 deals in 90 days, and a couple months into this,
he's pursuing 90 deals in 90 days.
How's that work out?
If you've ever structured deals and did negotiations, they don't always pan out the way you want.
Oh, so it hasn't panned out the way he promised they would. Okay, we finally admit.
I mean, if he was Jesus Christ of Nazareth, then I would say everything he said would work out perfectly.
Then why is he
making an effort to do it? The answer is yes. Does he have a plan of action? The answer is yes.
He has the plan. What's the plan of action with China? Since she doesn't.
Okay, Jay Blaze. That's not what he said. He said he was going to end the war the first day. He didn't have a problem saying that he was going to end grocery prices. He didn't have a problem doing that. When he said he was talking to all these people, he That wasn't a problem, right? Let me help you. You're right. He shouldn't sell the plan. But people are going to hear you say things like that, and they're like, "Damn, he does have a plan. Okay, I'm gonna vote for him." And here we are now, 5 months into his administration. He don't got a plan. Why do you think people feel like they wasted their vote? I prefer shrimp, Carmen. Anyway, it goes back to what I just said. You can't put stuff out there like that because people are desperate right now. They will gravitate to anything good. You can't say things like that and not have a plan. He had no plan. And it goes back to what I've been telling people on this platform for years. He does not know how to deal with BRICS. The rest of the world is not listening to us like they used to. They had 4 years without this man in office. They accelerated themselves. They're doing deals with each other. They don't need us. And he still think he gonna come to the negotiating table and they gonna sit out there and they gonna bow to this man. They're telling him to screw off.
I'm not in the negotiating room. They did go to negotiate, didn't they?
So
they had a negotiation, didn't they?
How's that going on? How are those negotiations?
I'm not there. Neither are you.
We're not there.
Did they go to the table to negotiate?
So how do you know the
Did
negotiations?
China agree to negotiate with Donald Trump on tariffs?
President Xi has not spoken to Trump. So how would you say the negotiations are going well when you don't know how those
Well, to be fair, white boy, him and Xi don't do the negotiations. It's their people. It's JD, it's and the Secretary of Commerce and the teams that they put together and vis-a-vis the counterparts over in whatever country they're talking to. All the presidents do is get told that this is a great deal, sign it. And then they go in front of folk and they get bullet points to explain the deal. And then they sign it, they shake hands, you got the flag behind it, and then boom. All the presidents and prime ministers are there for the photo op, just to seal the deal. That's it. They're not putting in the work.
negotiations
I never said that specific negotiations went well. You asked me the totality of his tariff negotiations. To have people renegotiate and come to the table over 60 countries or so, I think.
And what has gone with those 60 negotiations outside of the UK? Nothing. Because he would be saying, I just made a deal with Vietnam. I just made a deal with Egypt. I just made a deal with Brazil. He's not saying that. There's no deals. By the way, screenshot number 4.
I think that's a positive. Him going to the table to communicate with the Chinese about tariffs is a positive.
For the stock market, not for the American people.
Xi has not gone to the table with him, and Donald Trump is not. No, it's not me. That's the Chinese government.
What is the tariffs? What were the tariffs against the United States of
Well,
America?
it's not my fault that Taco Trump
And they reduced it down.
Yeah, Donald Trump did because he's a chicken.
And China did too. And China reduced the tariff.
And the Americans.
China reduced the tariff.
And the Americans.
Because they're still getting money. God damn. They're still making money.
Consumers
China reduced the tariffs.
All right, well,
China reduced the tariffs. I buy things that are foreign too, and I know that the tariffs are reduced.
Okay, last thing I want to bring up.
David White, I'm not a liberal, so I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't realize that liberals were the only ones that bitched about the stock market. Okay.
And I appreciate your time. Last thing I wanted to bring up, you tweeted out about the liberal media panicking when the South African president was invited to the office. You talked about this video that Donald Trump showed. It has since been debunked, this burial site, which was not a burial site. It turns out they were just cross symbols for 2 people that lost their lives. There was no genocide. Why is your tweet still up there? And why don't you retract that and admit that Donald Trump lied?
No, here's the thing. Donald Trump did not make the video. Donald Trump misinterpreted what he saw in one portion of the video.
So why did he play it? No, that was in the Congo, sir. It's funny. These MAGA supporters, y'all heard South Africans on the ground there say there's no genocide going on. It's just countrywide crime. And it's affecting everybody from the urban areas to the rural areas, and y'all are still saying there's a genocide. It's like y'all didn't even hear the Minister of Agriculture from that country tell you, the president to his face, there's no genocide going on. And y'all are still running with it.
The speeches that came from the activists in South Africa, that was what was wrong with that? He said the things he said. The murder of power, or whatever he was saying about killing the farmer.
No genocide. It's been proven.
Listen, this is the thing
that's crazy.
I think about killing the farmer.
No genocide.
That's crazy. Screenshot number 5. That's crazy. I might change it. I might change it to that screenshot. I might change the thumbnail to that. Again, I ask MAGA supporters that are still saying there's a genocide. Why hasn't the ICJ and the UN called South Africa to task over that?
It's been proven.
Listen. This is the thing that I think you misconstrued. You want to hate Trump so bad you can't even listen to anything that's being said.
Oh no, I'm listening.
I'm wise enough to say that I saw that video a long time ago. I remember when they set up on the side of the road to do that, and they set up those crosses. I remember that happening. I remember.
But what? Okay, and his point was, why did your tweet stay up, basically echoing what Trump said? You should have taken it down. So, by what you just said, you admitted that Trump put something up there that he shouldn't have put up there. And he had no context of what was going on in that, and you still tweeted out support on that man.
Remember the guy who did a rally in front of millions of people saying kill the farmer and all these other things.
Correct, Daniel Faith. Correct. Yes, there was Craigslist postings for crisis actors. Yes. Just like there's one right now on LA's Craigslist for people to go out there on the riots. Yes, we know. What's your point?
There are actual farmers who are there that are saying that there's a genocide that's occurring against them. The president of South Africa, listen, brought people there who said that they know people who have been killed.
But that's not a genocide. Do you know what a genocide is, sir? Oh, Jesus Christ.
People have been killed. Do you not understand the difference between some people being killed and a genocide? Do you not understand?
You can argue what you want. There's people in South Africa that are saying that the people in South Africa,
some people, just like some people that are saying Donald Trump won the 2020 election.
You can say what you want to say. The people are saying it.
You're right.
People are refugees.
You're right.
They've gotten asylum.
Some people, you sound like Trump. Some people are saying.
You got millions of people. You got millions of people at a protest that are saying kill the farmer. They're just talking just to say that. There's millions of people there.
How the hell did you get millions of people into a football stadium, Brandon? How did you do that? I ain't never seen a 1,000,000-seat stadium before in my life. I've never seen it. Okay.
Millions of people that are saying kill the farmer. I'd have to see that video and that.
Did you watch the video?
Millions of people. Yes, I did.
Watch the video.
Yes, I did. And those crosses on that field were
no. Let's talk about what the South African activists said. What did he say? Do you remember that part? Or did you just watch the cross?
Why have you not taken down your tweet? Which is
because where did I mention Trump in that tweet?
You can't defend what's on the screen. Donald Trump showed it.
Where did I mention Trump in that? Where did I mention Trump in that?
President Trump showed a video. This is your words. President Trump showed a video of what's actually happening in South Africa. That is not a genocide. That field that he showed with the crosses, actually, the people that died, their family has spoken out and said that was awful what Donald Trump did. They've spoken out against it. That is not a genocide. How convenient. Every time I bring up facts,
show me the proof and I'll say it. No.
How are you? So you didn't research none of this, but you put up the tweet on it.
And you didn't hear about Donald Trump admitted to going in.
Send it to me. Send it to me, and I'll recant.
Send
it to me, and I'll take my.
I'll tell you what. Okay, here's the deal. I appreciate.
Send it to me. I'll take my tweet.
Here's the deal. I do appreciate you coming on and willing to have this debate.
You gonna send me the thing so I can take my tweet down?
Yes, I will. If you can do me a favor, Brandon, I'll send it to your assistant. Right? I will send him or her the video. I'm happy to do that. And I would love to continue this conversation with you. It's a good spirited debate. And I do respect the fact that you were willing to come on here, knowing that we would not agree on stuff. I do appreciate that. I'm being very sincere. I do appreciate you doing that. That's a lot more than I could say about a lot of other people. So I do appreciate you coming on. And we went a little long here, Brendan, but I would love to do this again with you. I'm happy to do your podcast. I think it's a good debate. And I do appreciate you taking the time, Brendan, to come on. And I will send that to your assistant. I promise you. You have my word on that, okay?
Here we go. Yes, they said kill white people. Kill the Boer. Okay. Where's the genocide in South Africa? Let me know. Since y'all want to come in here and defend a country damn near 13,000 miles away, show us where we can find the footage of the ongoing genocide in South Africa. Go ahead. He did lie. He literally lied. Okay. Oh, Lord. Jacob, show us where right now there's farmers in South Africa. There's an entire collection of farmers in South Africa getting killed. Show it to us. Right now. Sir, we already did the live stream on this and proved it. It's not happening. Damn it. Y'all are sad, boy. Come on, Jacob. Send me the link. I got an X account, The Kid Gravity. I'm sure you're on X. Send me the link. In 2025, there's an ongoing genocide in South Africa. Go ahead. It shouldn't be that hard. If you're saying it's happening, there should be stories right now. Okay, first off, whoever with that dumbass name, Northwest, why would I say blacks were enslaved in America? There's proof. I get it. Reading's hard for y'all because y'all don't read. I get it. It's tough seeing words. And when you read, it helps with your comprehension. I asked that man, since you want to come in and defend him, I asked him, and you can go help out. You can make this a group project. Go find me stories right now for ongoing genocide in South Africa right now. Go ahead. No. Go, Jacob. You brought it up. You have the info. Go get it for me. Don't tell me to Google shit. You go Google it. Swipe up on your phone if you got picture in picture and go get me that. Go get it for me. I'll still be here. Go get it. Show me your armor. No, Anthony, shut up. He said it's ongoing. I don't need to prove there isn't. He needs to prove there is. I've already proven there wasn't. I did that 2 weeks ago when Ramaphosa showed up here. Try again. Nobody's asking you to do shit. Shut the fuck up. Now I'm telling you to do something. You gotta go because I'm gonna break my rule, family. He can't even spell kiddo. That's crazy. Yes, Terry, we know they're all actors, but it's just funny that we got MAGA supporters sitting up here defending the actors, and the president is a whole actor. We got people on the left defending actors, and they had actors that were president. Is just fun. One day we're gonna slip up, and somebody's gonna put up a post with a Craigslist post and say, "Hey, you want to be president of the United States? Click here." Wait a minute, we in 2025. Y'all can't pull up a phone and go get an article and just email it to yourself and then send the link. Come on now. David, they don't want to take the L because Trump said it. So everything Trump says is the truth. Why would they take an L on that? Trump never does wrong. Let's see. Stock futures rise after benign CPI inflation report. Because that helps Wall Street. God damn. Woo. This is crazy. I'm going to watch this today. We got about another 5 hours. I'm finna watch all this. It better not hit red. But what did y'all think of that? What do you mean the left didn't try to unalive the vice president? Huh? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Look, Axe Black, we already knew what Trump was going to do. He got to have a quota. His whole cabinet is DEI, by the way. But that's all right. That's what they wanted. DEI is good when it's around Trump. So it's all good. Come on, Jacob, where you at? Prove the genocide. Because I can go pull up one on Gaza right now. That's still ongoing. We go pull up the one with Ukraine and Russia. That's still going on. We go pull up ones on Africa. That's still going on. I want him to pull up South Africa. They still haven't contented with the fact that Trump brought a whole bunch of white South African refugees over here just because they're white. And they're going to be a problem in the next 5 years, but it's okay. Including the chick with the pink Adidas jacket. She's going to be the worst because these MAGA idiots saw a blonde haired, blue eyed woman. Wait till she gets her Americanized vernacular down. She's going to be all over Fox News in business suits talking about politics over here. That's going to be crazy. Yes, one of them off the wife, and a couple of them did crimes too. But that's what they want. I got told I was doing whataboutism because I mentioned that. Because they said that it was the South Africans coming over here are the productive ones. Okay. Right. Okay. You sound like a bitch, homegrown. Because nobody's crying here. Maybe you crying. You know, you got that email this morning saying your services are no longer required. Can't even write. You made crybaby. How did I make a crybaby? Jesus, came in right, boy. Sir, yes, I have 56, 57 people watching. At the height, it was almost at 100. Yes. How many people can you get to watch you say something? That's the question. Let's go look at your channel real fast. 79 subscribers. Maybe you should go talk to folk. Nobody's whining. You don't even know what whining is. Look at you. But anyway, we're gonna leave homegrown love on there because we know what that means. I got cum on the face. But that we're gonna leave that alone. You're a harder worker, okay? So why you ain't at work? Anyway, let me see if they got this. Anybody saw this debate on X? Uh, Brandon Tatum. He can't even write. Can anybody translate that sentence that cocksucker wrote? Help me out. Where's Brian? Wait, he tweeted it. Huh. All right, let's see. Look, here he go thugging. There he go thugging. There he go thugging. Look. There he go thugging. Woo! There he go thugging. There he go thugging. Woo! Oh, there he go thugging. Oh Lord. Huh. I'm surprised the white boy ain't put it up. I don't even know what that white boy go by. Wait, let me check his page. Maybe it's on there somewhere. Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, there we go. X. Okay. Ah, that's what it is. All right, let's see. We're gonna take this. Put. Let's see. Okay, nobody said nothing there. Oh wait, that was the Piers Morgan thing. Never mind. I mean, Let me see. It should be somewhere on this page. He looked crazy. That white boy looked crazy right there.
Why don't you apologize?
Why he look so? Why does he look so crazy right there? That's crazy. He reacted. Oh wait, Beats by G. That's how conservatives react. Thanks, I didn't know that. They react violently. Okay, I get it. Why does he have a wig on? What is going on? So how come he didn't put up the video? Where is it? When did he do this interview, by the way? When did he do it? June 9th. So that was 2 days ago. Okay. There's June 9th. June 9th. He kept talking about fucking Roger Stone for some goddamn reason. Where you dropped it on the 9th. Now he going after Enrique Tarrio. Oh, he don't be getting no traction on this page. All right, say less. All right, he don't even get no traction. Okay, never mind. I figured somebody would have said something. Well, it's all good. So anyway, what did y'all think about that? Yes, Epstein was a Democrat, so was Trump, so was Elon. Everybody was Democrats. When they found out there was more money on the right, they went over there. We know this. Y'all gotta remember there was a lot of MAGA supporters that said the same thing. That's their story. Remember Walk Away? That was their story. It's okay. I'm not mad that they went over there. It's just it's crazy that they're acting like they've been conservatives their whole life. How was that a bad take? Beats by G. Your G must stand for gullible. I don't know how that's a bad take, but I get it. Chef Chevy, what do you mean it's not about the money? It literally was about the money. They couldn't get no traction being on the left because everybody was already established. So they literally grifted to the right. No, you're right. Okay. Anyway. Well, Axe, the reason why they're not going to release it is because there's a lot of people in Congress that's going to get caught up. It's funny that MAGA still hasn't figured out they're not codifying the Doge cuts is because if they do that, they're going to have to admit that they waste money. What congressional person is going to admit they're wasting money? Homegrown love, stop talking until you can write a coherent sentence. Thank you so much. You just be writing dumb shit. Well, Axe, that's the point. It's Hunter Biden. Yes, that's the president's son, but he not tough. He not tough. That's easy. Cash Patel said we're going to release the Epstein files. Okay, we're still here waiting. And then he gave you some chum, and now they turned on him. Talking about somehow he's part of the deep state. Him and Dan Bongino are part of the deep state. So we're back to that again. It's okay. We good. No, Chef Chevy. Chef Chevy. Okay, I'll explain this again. All these people like him and Candace and Jack Posobiec that claim that they're conservatives, they're not. They literally did that because they used to be on the left. Plenty of them have done videos on that, admitting this. If you're going to say that conservatives are about beliefs and moral standards, how can you accept grifters as a conservative? Yes, there's more money on the right. Yes. Are you serious right now? Did Trump not get over 9 figures from people on the right? Did he not? Did that not happen? Did they not buy his products on his website like them sneakers and the Red Bible? Are you serious? You gonna tell me there's not more money on the right? Okay. Okay. Wow. You see a couple presidential candidates on the left get $1 billion and think there's not more money on the right. Okay, okay. Because Trump didn't spend $1 billion on this election. Yeah, all right. He spent significantly less. Okay, okay. All right. Because conservatives want to run around and say how they broke. Yet this man just told you he's a millionaire. His words. Okay. All right. Okay. Did he not get over $300 million? Did he not? I didn't know 9 figures didn't mean that was 9 numbers separated by 2 commas. I didn't know that. Did they not? Did people on the right not get that man over $300 million? Maybe I missed it. Maybe I did. We all watched it, but okay, fine, fine. You put the media with people on the left and think they got okay. The same media that gives both sides money. All right, cool. All right. Chef Chevy, no, they don't. No, they don't. Republicans and conservatives are not this. Are they're not aligned with the same side? No, they're not. Because I just told you, and I think you can agree to this. A lot of these conservatives are not real conservatives. They don't align with that. They're telling you they do because they need money. They need to keep up their lifestyle. They don't believe what they're saying. I think we all can agree on that. But listen, again, if you guys want to support Tatum, that's your problem. Just understand he's controlled opposition. He's going to get y'all screwed up out here. You keep following him around. You can go on a couple of them live streams he had. The one about Uvalde, one about Tyree Nichols, and you could listen to how he was explaining things and how that crowd turned on him. Even people that were loyal to him turned on him in real time. It was crazy when we were watching it. The real conservatives don't respect people like him. This. These are the conservatives y'all are sitting up there lauding over. Influencers. How? Why would you bring up Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? Oh Lord. You're telling me Brandon Tatum follows what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X stand for? Is that what you're telling me? I know that's not what you're telling me. Because This is the same Brandon Tatum who loves to bring up "I have a dream," but doesn't say anything when Martin Luther King brought up we coming to Washington to get our check. This is the same Brandon Tatum who would laud Malcolm X for saying something about them white liberals, but he also said something about them black conservatives and said how they were a danger because they're trying to be the house. They're trying to be the house Negro. But you're telling me you're going to try to put them in the same thing because I said that that Brandon Tatum was trying to get money. Okay. All right. And on that note, family, I'm going to go get ready to get my car fixed. He said, "Oh Lord, what am I pulling up, Chef Chevy? What am I pulling up?" You're gonna tell me Malcolm X didn't say anything about black conservatives, black Republicans? I'm sorry, black Republicans. He didn't say something about them because black conservatives didn't come around until 1981. So I misspoke. You're gonna tell me he didn't say anything about black Republicans? Okay. All right. Because he didn't say this. The political philosophy of black nationalism only means that the black man should control the politics of the politicians in his own community. The time when white people can come in our community and get us to vote for them so that they can be our political leaders to tell us what to do and what not to do is long gone. He didn't say that, right? I'm one of the 22 million black victims of the Democrats, one of the 22 million black victims of the Republicans, and one of the 22 million black victims of Americanism. And when I speak, I don't speak as a Democrat or Republican nor an American. I speak as a victim of America's so called democracy. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. So you're right. He didn't say anything about black Republicans. You're right. Okay. Here you go. Took me 10 seconds to find that. Like I said, on that note, I'm going to go get ready to go get my car fixed. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. I will see y'all when I see y'all. I don't know when that's going to be, but hey, something might come up. It always does. Oh, actually, no. I tell a lie. There is something I want to talk to y'all about. We'll probably do it, what's today, Wednesday? We could probably do it tomorrow. Al Qaeda might be making me look like Nostradamus. Because right now they're in West Africa and they are doing gangbusters over there. And we all know what the logical next step is either go to the UK or go to the US. And we're damn near close to July. And if y'all remember 2023, when I read that article about why the US has an American base over there in Africa, because they said that the next Al Qaeda is going to be worse than bin Laden's. I think this may be it. But we'll explore that tomorrow. We could do a live, Chef Chevy. Just send me your information, kgravitybeyond@gmail.com. Send me your information. We can do that. I don't have a problem. But anyway, we will probably discuss that tomorrow. So y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Remember, it's Wednesday, so go out and hump something. Y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.